Okay, so then my parents had gotten there at about, my mom had been there and then she had taken my daughter home and my husband and I just labored there till about 6. And then they came back and my dad got there. It was my mom and my dad there and my daughter and my husband. And the midwife came back and checked me at around 6 p.m. and I had progressed to a 5 or 6, stretchy to a 6. So she's like, oh, you are progressing, so this could be labor. And I had thrown up again, so she was still concerned that it wasn't quite labor. So anyway, she's like, okay, well, I'm just going to let you labor some more. And I got in the shower, and it's all kind of gets fuzzy at this point. But I remember I got in the shower a few times and started laboring in there. And people were arriving. My mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sister-in-law, and brother-in-law. Well, actually, no, my brother-in-law didn't get there for a while. Let's see. Who else was there? The midwives. A friend of mine was there. She was really wonderful, like doula-y. It was great. Who else was there? There's quite a few people. But anyway, they started arriving and coming in and kind of checking on me and seeing how I was doing. The midwives would just come back and forth and check on me. And then I started getting grunty when I was going through contractions. And so they, like, you know, kind of was like, okay, well, why don't you try, you know, making sure you pee. So I'd like go to the bathroom and go back to the bed and labor more on the bed and then go back to the shower. And so it was just kind of like taking forever. And let's see. Then I think it was around 8:30 or 8. I'd have to ask somebody, but around that time, they filled up the bath because I was hoping to do a water birth. And so they filled up the bath and I got in and my mom was sitting behind me and my husband was sitting in front of me. And I mean, I had labored like on the birth stool and everything, and just didn't seem like anything was happening. And they were getting super intense. I mean, at this point, I was like screaming, but you know, not screaming, like really low moaning, trying to keep it together, keep calm, and so that's kind of what was happening at that point. And then I started getting really grunty on the birth stool, and kind of like it helped to kind of feel like I was pushing through contractions. So they checked me. And I actually had a lip, I think, left or something. And no, they didn't check me before I got in the water. So they said, okay, maybe you should just go ahead and get in the tub. So I got in the tub and my mom was behind me, my husband was in front of me. And every time I'd have a contraction, I would like pull on my husband's hand and like lean back into my mom and just like kind of grunty push contraction moan thing going on. And so they knew I was kind of getting close, but I just wasn't. There was no like real pushing contraction. It wasn't at all a pushing contraction. And if you've had a pushing contraction, you know it's a big difference than a regular contraction. So it was just kind of the way I was getting through them. And I was in there till about 9:30. And at that point they were saying, okay, it seems like the contractions are easier in here. And this had happened in the shower too. And I was thinking the same thing, like, contractions are easier, they're further apart, this is slowing down labor. So they're like, and then they wanted to convince me, they wanted to be like, okay, well, you know, if we break your water, because my water hadn't broken yet, if we break your water, you might have this baby before midnight, and you might have a leap year baby. I didn't even think about it, I was like, okay, whatever. And it might speed up labor, because your labor is taking a really long time, and you know, it doesn't seem like there's much progression. And I was like, okay, fine, you can break my water, sure, whatever. So we got out of the tub and we went over to the bed and they broke my water. And then contractions got even worse. Oh my gosh, it was so painful, guys. It got so bad. It was like really intense. This is when I started kind of losing it, like screaming and stuff. Some contractions more so than others. And I kind of, let's see, they had me pushing on my back. back, like doing some practice pushes because there was a lip. And then I started to realize that the midwives were getting a little antsy and were like, there's something not right. And so they wanted to check me. And so they checked me, and he still hadn't really moved down through the birth canal. And so the reason for that was they were thinking that he was positioned incorrectly. So yeah.